Who has played the maximum number of balls in Test cricket? Who made his debut in international cricket aged 14? Who's the only man in the gentleman's game to take 2 hat-tricks in the same match? Have you ever thought of such records? Well, here's a look at the cricket world records you must know about. Hat-trick taken by a bowler in each innings of the same Test. Jimmy Matthews, the first and the only bowler still to grab 2 hat-tricks in the same Test. Matthews accomplished the feat more than a century ago against the South Africans in the year 1912. Playing at a neutral venue, Old Trafford in England, the Aussie leg spinner cleaned up the Proteas' tail by picking up the wickets of Roland Beaumont, Sid Pegler and Tommy Ward in successive deliveries, ending the Proteas' first innings much earlier than expected. In the second innings, the man from Victoria triggered an opposition batting collapse by sending Herbie Taylor, Reggie Schwartz and yet again an unlucky Ward back to the pavilion on consecutive balls. Ward, who notched up a king pair by virtue of losing his wicket on the first ball he faced in each innings, was the common thread between the 2 hat-tricks, as he was the last wicket to fall on both the occasions. Most consecutive wickets taken by a bowler in ODIs. Lasith Malinga. Slinga Malinga is the only player to take 4 wickets in 4 balls in one-day internationals, as the Sri Lankan speedster ripped through the South African middle order by claiming the wickets of Jacques Kallis, Sean Pollock, Andrew Hall and Makayatini, even though Lanka still lost the thrilling match by 1 wicket back in 2007. Most pairs by a batsman in Test career. Chris Martin. For starters, a pair in Test cricket is accomplished when a batsman gets out without getting on board in both the innings. At present, Chris Martin, who represented New Zealand in 71 matches, holds the record with 7 pairs. Martin also got out on a duck 36 times overall in a career spanning 14 years from 2000 to 2013. Most matches played as captain in Tests. Graeme Smith. Graeme Smith of South Africa is the lone flag bearer in a list of players who have captained their national side in Test cricket. Smith, who retired from international cricket in 2014, led the Proteas in 109 Tests from 2003 to 2014. Australian Alan Border is next with 93 matches. Most consecutive 5 wickets taken in an innings by a bowler in ODIs. Waqar Younis. Waqar Younis, better known as the king of reverse swing, is the only bowler who has taken 3 successive 5-wicket hauls in ODIs. Waqar, who is the current coach of the Pakistan national side, was at his very best, picking up 5 for 11 and 5 for 16 against New Zealand and then again 5 for 52 against the West Indies at Peshawar, Sialkot and Karachi respectively in the 1990s. Most 6s struck by a batsman in a Test innings. Wasim Akram. The former Pakistan skipper has the distinction of hitting the most number of 6s in a Test innings. Exactly a dozen times, Wasim had sent the ball over the boundary ropes during his unbeaten 257 against Zimbabwe at Shikapura in 1996. Akram's knock brought the curtains down on Wally Hammond's long-standing record of 10 6s that he had managed to strike during his classic innings of 336 not out in 1932-33. The southpaw was extremely severe against the spinners, Paul String and Andrew Whittle, as he hoiked the ball straight out of the ground whenever they pitched the ball up or gave a bit more air. No ducks made by a batsman in ODI career. Kepler Wessels. Former Australian and South African batsman Kepler Wessels is the only batsman in world cricket not to be dismissed for 0. The southpaw, who played 109 ODIs from 1983 to 1994, never got out without scoring a run in his 105 innings. First Test captain to hit 300s in first 3 innings. Virat Kohli celebrated his rise to India's Test captaincy by hitting his 4th century of the series in the 4th and the final Test against Australia in Sydney in January 2015. With a scintillating knock of 140 at the SCG and his twin tons at Adelaide in the first Test, the Delhi lad became the first Test skipper in cricket history to score 300s in his first 3 innings. Most runs conceded by a bowler in an ODI innings. Mick Lewis. Australian Mick Lewis turned out to be the most expensive bowler in ODI history when he gave away 113 runs in his quota of 10 overs against the South Africans at the Wanderers in 2006, chasing the then world record 434. The Proteas, led by the swashbuckling Herschel Gibbs and a steady Graeme Smith, took Lewis to the cleaners on that particular day, striking an impressive 13 fours and 4 sixes on his bowling. Most Man of the Match awards won in tests. Jacques Kallis. Over the years, Jacques Kallis used to be the go-to man for most South African captains, be it to break a crucial partnership or to build a big partnership. Kallis was Man Friday for the Proteas, and it would hardly bemuse anyone to find that the guy won more Man of the Match awards than anyone else in the longest format of the game. To be precise, he bagged 23 awards, for more than Mudia Muralitharan, who collected 19 such awards. Most runs scored by a batsman without 100 in tests. Shane Warne. Shane Warne was undoubtedly a talisman with the ball, toying with batsmen all over the globe. However, the Aussie great's luck toyed hard on him too, as Warne failed to achieve his lifelong dream of making a Test 100. The leg spinner came extremely close against the New Zealanders in Perth in 2001, but as the fate would have it, he was caught by Mark Richardson at deep mid-wicket for 99. Most consecutive wins completed by a team in ODIs. Australia, with 21 victories on the trot. The Australian team holds this stupendous record. The Kangaroos, led by the wily Ricky Ponting, were in effect unbeatable with their streak beginning with narrow 7-run triumph over England at Hobart on January 11, 2003 and going right up to May 24, 2003 when they achieved their last win of their streak over West Indies in Port of Spain. Their winning spree also included a second successive World Cup title when they defeated India in the final at Johannesburg, South Africa in March. Most ducks made by a batsman in tests. Courtney Walsh. The lanky West Indian fast bowler was dismissed for not a record 43 times during an international career spanning nearly 17 years from 1984 to 2001. Walsh, once the world record holder for the most wickets taken in tests, remained a mediocre batter throughout his playing days. In the 132 tests and 185 innings that he got to play for the Caribbean side, he could only accumulate a total of 936 runs. His highest score in an innings was a poor 30 not out, and his batting average was a miserable 7.54. Batsmen dismissed in 90s on maximum occasions in ODIs. Sachin Tendulkar. Master blaster Sachin Tendulkar may have scored 100 centuries in international cricket, but he too couldn't handle nerves in the 90s, especially in one-day internationals. The Mumbaikar, who ended his career with 49 ODI tons, got out in the 90s on 18 occasions, 9 more times than Zimbabwe's Grant Flower, who too had a dismal record when facing balls in between a score of 90 and 100. Most wickets by a bowler in a test match. Jim Laker. Immortal English off-spinner Jim Laker's name is written all over this record with mind-boggling figures of 19 wickets for just 90 runs. Laker, who was the first bowler to take all 10 wickets in an innings in international cricket in the second innings of the same test, had sent 9 Australian batsmen back to the pavilion in the first SA2 in that encounter at Old Trafford. Laker's heroics made sure that the Englishman completed an innings in 170-run triumph, and hence retained the Ashes. Most catches taken by a fielder in a test match. Ajinkya Rahane. Ajinkya Rahane, a brilliant fielder, created a world record by becoming the first non-keeper cricketer to take 8 catches in a test match on August 14, 2015. He accomplished the feat against Sri Lanka in the first test at Gale when he caught Ranana Harath'd first slip off the bowling of Amit Mishra. Youngest player to play an ODI, Hassan Raza. Can you believe? Raza played his first one-day international at the age of 14 years and 233 days when he made his debut for Pakistan against Zimbabwe in 1996. Surprisingly, Sachin Tendulkar doesn't feature in the top 5 as Gurdeep Singh of Kenya, Nitish Kumar of Canada and Raza's teammates Saqib Javed and Shahid Afridi are the other men on the list. Most runs scored by a batsman in an over in an ODI. Herschel Gibbs. Controversial South African opener Herschel Gibbs smacked 6 successive balls out of the park off the bowling of Dan van Bunge of the Netherlands to become the first man in the history of one-day internationals to accomplish the landmark. His 36 runs off 6 deliveries are the maximum number of runs collected by a batsman in the 50-over format. Most balls faced by a batsman in Test cricket, Rahul Dravid 31,258, yeah, that's right, India's batting mainstay for more than a decade and a half. Dravid is the only batsman in the world till date to play more than 30,000 deliveries in whites. Famous for frustrating the opposition bowlers with his rock-solid defense, impeccable patience and high levels of endurance, he was given the epithet of the wall for his special ability to play a long innings. The current India A coach is followed by Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar, who faced a total of 29,437 balls during his illustrious career of 200 tests. Best economy rate achieved by a bowler in an innings in tests, Bapu Nadkarni. More than 50 years have passed since Bapu Nadkarni put up an awesome display of slow left-arm bowling against England at Chennai. Varying his length beautifully and bowling in immaculate line and length, Nadkarni kept a tight leash at the 3 lions. He finished the innings with an excellent economy rate of 0.15, giving away only 5 runs in 32 overs that featured 27 maidens. Fastest 50 smashed by a batsman in an ODI, AB de Villiers. For long, Sanith Jayasuriya's record of completing a 50 in 17 balls stood the test of time, but it was Awesome de Villiers, who unleashed a spectacular ball-striking spree to accomplish his half-ton in just 16 balls against the West Indies in Johannesburg earlier this year, ending Jayasuriya's near 20-year hold on the record. AB, who is known as Mr. 360 for his special ability to hit the ball all around the park, being equally good on both off and leg side and with no real weaknesses, completed his 50 that included 5 sixes and 3 fours with an incredible shot over the backwards square leg boundary. Most sixes hit in international cricket as captain, MS Dhoni. Indian ODI and T20 skipper Dhoni became the first player to hit 200 international sixes as captain after smashing Sri Lankan bowler Malinda Siriwardana over the park in his knock of 7 off 4 balls in their encounter in the recently concluded Asia Cup T20. Dhoni took 315 innings across all formats, tests, ODIs and T20s to accomplish the milestone. Slowest 50 scored by a batsman in Test cricket, Trevor Bailey. England all-rounder, Trevor Bailey, best known for his obdurate defensive batting, scored the slowest 50 in Test cricket, in 357 minutes and 350 balls to be precise. However, Bailey's marathon innings wasn't enough for England as the Australians eventually won the Test match by 8 wickets. Highest batting average in T20s, Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli of India is the only batsman to have an average of above 50 in T20 internationals. The formidable middle-order batsman has so far scored an impressive 1983 runs in 57 matches and 53 innings at a superb average of 50.84. Most consecutive 50s made by a batsman in ODIs, Javed Miandad. Arguably Pakistan's finest batsman, Javed Miandad's record of making 9 successive 50s have stood the test of time for almost 30 years. Miandad slammed the better than a run-a-ball 100 against Sri Lanka at Hyderabad, Sindh, and subsequently went on to achieve scores of 68, 71 not out, 113, 52 out, 60, 74 not out, 78 not out, 78 in the following innings he played for India's arch-rivals. Youngest batsman to score 100 in ODIs, Shahid Afridi. Pakistan's last T20 skipper Shahid Afridi became the youngest player to hit a century in one-day internationals when he smashed a whirlwind 102 off 40 deliveries against the Sri Lankans at Nairobi in 1996. Afridi was just 16 years and 217 days old when he notched up his maiden ton in what was a special show of raw power against the Lankans at the Gymkhana Club ground.